Hi, my name is Ron Taylor. I serve with the Branches Ministry here at Gateway Bible Church as one of the life coaches. And I want to thank you for taking the time to view this video in response to Pastor Ron's message on anger this week. I applaud your doing so as a next step toward a better understanding of anger at play in your own life and of the steps that you can take to ensure that you express anger in healthy ways. I assure you this step is anchored in hope, recognizing that the God who made you, knows you, loves you, will empower you to better understand this important emotion while also strengthening you to gain upper hand when anger flares up or spirals out of control. Our starting point is to note that anger is a normal and healthy emotion by which we live our lives, yet, when expressed in unhealthy ways, has a negative effect upon our relationships, personal health, and our state of mind. Healthy anger conveys a message telling us when a situation is upsetting, unjust, or threatening. Yet if our knee-jerk reaction is to explode or implode, that message never has a chance to be conveyed. Though we may feel we can't control our reaction or tame the beast, so to speak, know that you can exercise more control than you actually think. That control is called anger management. Management is not suppression of anger, but rather coming to understand the message behind the emotion and learning to express it in a healthy way without losing control. When you do, you'll not only feel better, but you're more likely to get your needs actually met, better able to manage conflict in your life, and have healthier relationships. My goal in this short video clip is to encourage you with initial steps towards understanding your anger, as well as some tools that you could use to manage that in your life. First, let's explore what is behind your anger. Anger problems often stem from what you've learned as a child. For instance, watching others in your family scream, hit each other, throw things when expressing anger. Other factors that affect this is stress in your life and traumatic events. Alongside the influence of upbringing, look at the feelings behind the anger. Is there embarrassment or insecurity? Is there hurt, shame, or vulnerability? It is helpful for you to ask several questions to kind of get at the heart of this. For instance, do you have a hard time compromising? Is it hard for you to understand other people's points of view, or harder to concede a point? If you grew up in a family where anger was out of control, you may remember how the angry person got their own way because they spoke the loudest or demanded more. Compromise might bring up scary feelings of failure and vulnerability to you. Another set of questions is, do you have trouble expressing emotions other than anger? For instance, do you pride yourself on being tough and in control? Do you believe that the emotions of such feelings as fear or guilt or shame don't really apply to you? A third series of questions to ask is, do you view different opinions as a personal challenge? In other words, do you view your way as always right? And find anger rising when others disagree with you. If you have a strong need to be in control or have a fragile ego, you may interpret other perspectives as a challenge to your authority. Along with pinpointing emotions behind anger, a second area of understanding to gain a better awareness is note the warning signs and triggers that precede your anger. Though you may feel that your anger explodes out of nowhere, your body is actually providing you physical warning signs. When becoming angry, there is a fight or flight system that kicks in motion. And the angrier you become, the more your body will go into overdrive. So, for instance, does your body display some of these physical symptoms? Knots in your stomach, clenching of hands in your jaw, feeling clammy or flushed, breathing faster, having headaches, pacing or needing to walk around, pounding heart. Along with personal warning signs, are there negative thought patterns influencing your reactions or responses, such as overgeneralization, using the terms always, never, everyone. For example, you always interrupt me. You never consider my needs. Everyone disrespects me. There's also obsessing over shoulds and coulds. I should have. You must. Mind reading and jumping to conclusions is a third one. Assuming that you know what someone else is thinking or feeling. Collecting straws, that is, letting small irritations build and build until you reach the final straw and you explode, often over a minor situation. And then there's blaming. When anything goes wrong, it is always someone else's fault, and blaming others for your own problems. A third discovery that is helpful for dealing with anger is knowing how to cool down. Once you recognize your warning signs, you are in a better position to act differently to deal with anger. For instance, if you've come to recognize some emotions behind your anger, acknowledge those. Tune into that and acknowledge that. It takes juice out of the anger. Take some deep breaths. Get some exercise. Utilize other senses by listening to music. Or picture yourself in a favorite place. Stretch or massage areas of tension in your body. Slowly count to 10. And then you may have time to ask these questions of the situation. How important is it in the grand scheme of things? Is it worth ruining the rest of the day? Is my response appropriate to the situation? A fourth area that would be helpful for you is to explore ways to express your anger. If you arrive at the place of deciding that a situation is worth being angry about and that you can do something about it, you are better able to express yourself appropriately, take constructive action, and work towards resolution. So, for instance, always fight fair. That is, listen to the other as you speak and hear the other. Make relationships your priority. Focus on the present. Choose your battles. Be willing to forgive, and then know when to let something go. The last thing you can do is to know when it's time to get professional help. This can be as simple as reading and working through a self-help material. It could also be in taking a class on anger or joining a group around anger management. Meet with a life coach, for instance, or find a counselor or a therapist. Either way, if you find yourself in one of these following situations, then I think it's time to get some outside help. If you constantly feel frustrated and angry, no matter what you try to do, your temper causes problems at work and in your relationships. You avoid new events and people because you just can't control your temper. You've gotten in trouble with the law due to anger, and you have expressed your anger through physical violence. Each one of these are really ample means for which are motivators for you to get some help outside of what your own resources have provided. In summary, take some time to get to know your emotions behind the anger. Get to know the warning signs and the thought process that fuel your anger. Develop ways to cool down. Learn and practice healthy ways to respond, and know when it is time to get help. Now, I've just spoken a few minutes. All of this that I've mentioned takes a long time in process. Keep in mind, this is a process of understanding where you're at, reshaping your thinking, and then moving in tangible, constructive ways for healing. At the end of this video clip, there will be some resources noted there that you could respond to. You can also make contact with branches directly. And I believe in the bulletin there is a flyer that indicates resources. So great to meet you and share with you, and all hoping that what the Lord wants in your life is that sense of control, and that you can have the confidence that you know how to behave in your relationships and in situations.